The summer holidays had finally arrived, and for Maleeha, Subhan, and Hania, that could only mean one thing: their grandparents' house. The old house stood at the edge of the village, surrounded by tall neem trees and wide open fields that seemed to stretch forever. Its walls were faded, its wooden doors creaked with every push, and every corner carried stories of a time long gone. For the cousins, this house was not just a place, it was an adventure waiting to happen. Maleeha was the eldest among them. Thoughtful and observant, she noticed things others often ignored. Subhan, full of energy and courage, was always ready to explore anything new, no matter how risky it seemed. Hania, the youngest, was quiet but sharp, with a strong sense of intuition that often guided them when logic failed. On their first afternoon, after lunch and endless cups of chai served by Dadi Amma, the cousins decided to explore the parts of the house they were usually told to avoid. "Let's go upstairs," Subhan said, already halfway up the wooden staircase. "That area's always locked," Hania replied, her eyes wide with excitement. Maleeha smiled. "That's exactly why we should check it." At the top of the stairs was a narrow hallway filled with old photographs. Black and white faces stared at them from dusty frames, their expressions frozen in time. At the end of the hallway stood a small room with a door that hadn't been opened in years. Subhan pushed gently. The door creaked open, releasing a wave of dusty air and the smell of old wood. Sunlight streamed in through a small window, illuminating the room. Inside were broken chairs, stacked boxes, and in the far corner an old wooden trunk. The trunk was large, dark brown, and covered in scratches. Rusted metal edges wrapped around it, and a heavy lock hung loosely at the front. Hania walked closer. "This looks ancient." Maleeha knelt beside it. "I've never seen this before." Subhan tried lifting the lid, but it didn't move. It stuck. Together, they pushed harder. With a loud creak, the trunk finally opened. At first, all they saw were old clothes and yellowed papers. Then suddenly a soft golden glow lit up the inside of the trunk. The three cousins froze. "What is that?" Hania whispered. Maleeha reached in carefully and pulled out a rolled-up object wrapped in faded cloth. As she unwrapped it, the glow grew brighter. It was a map, not an ordinary map. This one looked hand-drawn, with mountains sketched in dark ink, rivers marked in blue, and strange symbols scattered across the page. At the center was a crescent-shaped mark, glowing faintly. Subhan's eyes widened. "This isn't normal." Maleeha turned the map around. On the back, words were written in an old style of English. "For those who seek, not those who fear." A sudden gust of wind blew through the room, making the window rattle. The glow faded, leaving the map looking old and worn, but still powerful. Hania swallowed. "Do you think this is real?" Before anyone could answer, footsteps echoed from downstairs. "Hide it," Subhan whispered urgently. Maleeha rolled the map quickly and tucked it into her backpack just as Dadi Amma's voice called out, "Beta, where are you all?" They rushed downstairs, trying to act normal, but their hearts were racing. That night, sleep refused to come. The three cousins lay awake in their shared room, whispering under the dim light of a small lamp. "We have to follow the map," Subhan said. Maleeha hesitated. "We don't even know where it leads." Hania sat up. "That's the point. It's a mystery." After a long pause, Maleeha nodded. "Tomorrow morning, we'll go together." At dawn, while the house was still quiet, they slipped out with a small bag of supplies. The map led them past the fields, toward the hills that rose behind the village. As they walked, the symbols on the map seemed to shift slightly as if guiding them. Whenever they hesitated, a breeze would push them gently in the right direction. After hours of walking, they reached a narrow path hidden behind thick bush. According to the map, this path didn't exist, but there it was. "This is it," Subhan said, excitement rushing through his voice. The path led them deeper into the hills, where the air grew cooler and the world quieter. Birds stopped chirping. Even the wind felt different. Suddenly Hania stopped. "Do you hear that?" A low humming sound echoed around them. The ground beneath their feet began to vibrate softly. From behind a cluster of rocks, something unexpected appeared, a stone arch covered in moss and carvings. The crescent symbol from the map was carved at the top. Maleeha took out the map. It glowed again, brighter than before. As they stepped closer, the arch shimmered, revealing a hidden passage. "This wasn't on any map I've ever seen," Subhan murmured. They stepped through. On the other side, the world changed. They found themselves standing at the edge of a hidden valley filled with ruins of an ancient settlement. Stone pathways, broken pillars, and old lanterns lined the area. Everything looked abandoned, but not destroyed. "This place," Hania whispered, "it feels like it's waiting." As they explored, they noticed carvings on the walls, stories of travelers, families, and children who once lived there. At the center of the valley stood a tall stone pillar with words carved into it. "Only those who walk together may leave together." Suddenly the ground shook. A loud rumble echoed through the valley as stones shifted and pathways began to collapse. "We need to get back," Subhan shouted. They ran, following the map, but the path behind them had disappeared. Panic set in. "We're trapped," Hania cried. Maleeha took a deep breath. "No, we're not. The map led us here, it will lead us out." She noticed something glowing faintly beneath the pillar, a symbol matching the crescent on the map. Together, the cousins placed their hands on the stone. The ground stopped shaking. A hidden staircase appeared, leading upward toward the light. They climbed quickly, emerging back onto the hillside just as the sun reached the top of the sky. Behind them, the hidden entrance vanished, leaving nothing but rocks and grass. They stood there, breathing heavily, hearts pounding. Subhan laughed. "Did that really just happen?" Hania smiled softly. "I think we just found the beginning of something." Maleeha looked at the map. The glow had faded completely, and the markings had vanished, leaving behind a blank piece of old paper. "It showed us what we needed," she said. "Now it's done." They returned to the house before anyone noticed they were gone. That night, as they sat under the stars in the courtyard, none of them spoke about the adventure. But they knew something had changed. The old trunk upstairs was now empty. The mystery had begun, and though this chapter had ended, the adventure of Maleeha, Subhan, and Hania was far from over. Some secrets, after all, don't end. They begin.